I came home for Christmas, but my seat was gone. We're only inviting immediate family, my mom said as she set a plate for my sister's fiancé. So I quietly finished the rent transfers and loan payments. At 7:20 a.m., 29 angry messages flooded in, and then came the loud knock. Christmas has always been the one time of year I held on to, even after everything. After the layoffs, the breakup, and the endless grind of trying to keep everyone else afloat, I thought maybe, just maybe, this year would be different. My family lives 2 states away. Every December, I drive 6 hours home, coffee thermos, trunk full of gifts, and the naive hope that we might sit together and pretend we're still the kind of family that laughs around a table. But this Christmas, the moment I stepped into the house, I knew something was off. The smell of cinnamon candles and baked ham hit me, but it felt wrong, too polished, too staged. My mom turned around from the counter, half smiling like she didn't expect me to show up. "Oh," she said. "Just oh. Hi, Mom. I texted I was coming. Got in early." She wiped her hands on a towel. "Right. It's just, we're doing something a bit smaller this year." Behind her, my sister, Amanda, was setting the table. My old spot, the end seat, by the window, had a new name card. Ethan. Her fiancé. I tried to laugh. Guess Ethan's sitting in the eldest son spot now. Amanda didn't even look up. Mom said it's for immediate family only this year. I blinked. What? Mom turned, trying to make her voice soft. "Don't take it personally, honey. You've been busy. We just thought it would be nice to have a quiet dinner, you know, just the closest family." "Closest?" I repeated. "I'm your son." She sighed, the way she always does when she's tired of dealing with me. "You know what I mean." Ethan walked in, carrying a bottle of wine. "Hey, man. Didn't know you'd be here." He grinned, not a care in the world. "We didn't have enough chairs, but maybe we can squeeze you in somewhere." I stared at my mother. "You set the table for him, but not for me?" Mom looked embarrassed. "It's not like that. You just didn't RSVP. RSVP? For Christmas?" Amanda rolled her eyes. "It's not that deep, Jake." That's when I realized, it was that deep. They'd moved on. My place, the space I once filled in that house, had been reassigned to someone more convenient, easier, new. So I did what I always do when I feel that sting in my chest, I smiled. I said I understood. I told them not to worry about it. Then I left. I got in my car, drove 5 miles to the small rental I pay for, the same one my mom knows I've been struggling to keep since I've been helping her cover her property taxes and paying off Amanda's old car loan. See, my mom never mentions that part. That every month, I send money home. That I'm the one who bailed Amanda out of debt last spring. That I've been quietly covering half their mortgage when Dad got laid off 2 years ago. So that night, I sat in my dim little kitchen, poured myself a drink, and opened my banking app. And I did it. Cancelled every automatic transfer. Stopped paying the property tax. Cut off the car loan payments. Deleted every linked account. Then I sent one last batch of transactions, final settlements. Rent paid. Utilities cleared. Credit line closed. And that was that. I went to bed feeling, hollow, but free. The next morning, at exactly 7:20 a.m., my phone lit up. 29 new messages. All caps. All fury. "What did you do?" "The bank said the payment didn't go through." Mom's crying. "You can't just stop helping your family. We took you in when you had nothing. Then. Don't be selfish. You're ruining Christmas." I put the phone face down. I thought that would be the end of it. But at 8:10 a.m., there was a loud, hard knock on my door. 3 times. Sharp, angry. I froze. Then came the voice. Jake. Open up. It was Amanda. I cracked the door open just enough to see her red face, eyes puffy from crying, or maybe rage. Ethan stood behind her, his jaw tight, pretending to play the calm diplomat. What are you doing here? I asked. She held up her phone. You just cost Mom and Dad everything. Their mortgage payment bounced. They're freaking out. They can handle it, I said evenly. It's their house. Their responsibility. You can't just abandon them like this. I laughed. Abandon them? You mean the same people who told me I wasn't immediate family enough for Christmas dinner? That's not fair, Ethan said softly. Oh, it's perfectly fair, I shot back. You wanted my seat, you can have my payments too. Amanda's lip trembled. You're being cruel. I'm being equal. Ethan took a step forward. Jake, man, don't make this worse. Don't man me, I snapped. You don't know what it's like to keep writing checks to people who treat you like a stranger in your own family. I've been paying for the privilege of being ignored. He went quiet. Amanda's tone shifted, desperate now. Mom didn't mean it like that. She just wanted things to feel normal. I shook my head. Then maybe she should have treated me like family before the money stopped. They left eventually, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the frame. I didn't go back to the family house that Christmas. I didn't call, didn't text. I stayed home, cooked myself breakfast, and for the first time in years, didn't feel like I owed anyone an explanation. But later that night, as I scrolled through social media, I saw the photo Amanda posted. Everyone was there, Mom, Dad, Ethan, even a few cousins I hadn't seen in ages. The caption read, "Family means everything, red heart. My spot at the table? Still missing." A week later, Mom finally called. Her voice was small. "You really meant it, didn't you? You're cutting us off." "I'm just stopping what shouldn't have been my job," I said quietly. "You made your choice, Mom." She didn't respond for a while. Then, softly, "I didn't realize how much we depended on you." "Yeah," I said. "Neither did I." When I hung up, I sat there for a long time, staring at the quiet around me, no angry group chats, no guilt messages, no endless requests for a quick favor. Just silence. And for the first time, I realized silence can feel like peace. You were supposed to take care of us. 3 weeks after Christmas, I thought the storm had passed. No more angry texts. No calls. Just the dull hum of my heater and the quiet of my small apartment. I had returned to work after the holidays, doing accounting for a logistics company, a job that paid well enough but never felt like a life. Still, silence was nice. Then one Thursday evening, my phone rang again. Mom flashed on the screen. I almost let it go to voicemail, but curiosity, or guilt, got the better of me. "Hello." Her voice was small, shaky. "Jake, honey, it's me." I said nothing. "I know you probably don't want to talk," she continued, "but things have been hard." I sighed. "Mom, I told you I can't keep paying for everything. I warned you months ago." "I know," she said quickly. "It's just, your father's hours were cut again. The mortgage company called. We might lose the house." There it was. The real reason for the call. Not an apology, not a reconciliation, a transaction. I rubbed my forehead. "Mom, I helped you for years. You had options. You just didn't want to make changes because you assumed I'd always cover it." She started to cry. "You're punishing us." "No," I said quietly. "I'm letting you experience what I've been living for a decade, having no one to fall back on." The silence on the other end stretched for a full minute before she whispered, "You've changed, Jake. Maybe I've finally stopped trying to earn a seat at my own table." I hung up before she could say more. That weekend, Amanda showed up. Again. She didn't even knock this time. She buzzed until I let her up. When I opened the door, she stood there in tears, holding a small cardboard box. "Mom and Dad are in trouble," she said. "Real trouble." I didn't answer. She came in anyway, setting the box on my counter. Inside were a few papers, overdue notices, foreclosure warnings, collection letters. "They could lose the house in 2 months," she said. "Mom hasn't been sleeping. Dad's blood pressure's through the roof." I took a deep breath. "Amanda, when was the last time you or Ethan helped them financially?" She blinked. We've been planning the wedding. We can't just." "Exactly," I said sharply. "You can't, or you won't." She froze. I pointed to the papers. "I kept that house afloat for years while you two played house and traveled to Cabo every summer. I covered the down payment for Dad's truck, Mom's medical bills, your car loan. And not once did anyone say thank you. Not once." She bit her lip. "You're still angry about Christmas." "I'm angry that it took losing my money for you to realize how much I mattered." Amanda's eyes filled with tears again. "We just thought you'd always help us. You've always been the responsible one. And you've always been the spoiled one," I said coldly. She looked down. "Ethan said maybe we could move the wedding. Postpone it." "Why?" "So I can bail you out again first." She didn't answer. Then she whispered, "Mom's scared you hate her." I sighed. "I don't hate her. I just can't keep being the family's ATM." Amanda looked around my small apartment, no decorations, no warmth, just a man who had given too much for too long. "Jake," she said softly. "You deserve better than this." I let out a bitter laugh. "Better? You mean better than being forgotten at Christmas?" She nodded weakly. "Yeah." 2 weeks later, the house went into default. I found out through a letter, one I wasn't supposed to get. The mortgage company sent it to my address by mistake because I had once co-signed the refinance for my parents 3 years ago. When I saw the red-stamped final notice, I felt a strange mix of guilt and grim satisfaction. They were losing the house, the same house where my seat had been replaced, the same dining table where I had no plate. That night, I got a group message from Amanda. "Amanda, they're talking about selling the house. Dad's furious. Mom's breaking down. Please call. Mom, we can't do this without you. Dad, you should be ashamed. Family sticks together. You don't just walk away." For a moment, I almost replied. Almost. But then I remembered the exact moment Mom had said, "We're keeping it small this year, just immediate family." That sentence had been echoing in my head for weeks. I turned my phone off. A month later, I got a call from my boss. "Jake, there's someone here asking for you. Says she's your mother." I froze. "She what?" "She's in the lobby. Looks upset." When I walked out, Mom was sitting there, pale, exhausted, holding a folder. "Mom, you can't come here." "I didn't know what else to do," she said, standing up. "They said you wouldn't answer. I thought if I came in person." "Mom," I said quietly, "you can't keep ambushing me like this." She thrust the folder toward me. "Just look. Please." Inside were papers, a foreclosure agreement, a list of debts, and a note from her doctor about severe stress and hypertension. I closed it slowly. "I'm sorry you're struggling, but this isn't my responsibility anymore." Her voice broke. "But you're our son. I was your son when you told me not to come to Christmas." She winced. "That was a mistake. I thought." You thought wrong. She sat down again, shoulders shaking. You don't understand. I thought I was teaching you independence. I didn't want you to feel obligated to us. I stared at her. Mom, I was independent. I just wanted to be loved, not used. Tears ran down her cheeks. I didn't mean to push you away. Maybe not, I said, but you did. She left soon after, too ashamed to meet my eyes. 2 months later, the house was officially listed for sale. I didn't visit. Not even when Amanda texted me that Dad had to sell his truck and that Mom had moved into a rental apartment near the church. Then one evening, Ethan messaged me directly. Hey man, I know it's not my place, but, they're broken. They miss you. They talk about you every night. Then maybe they should have saved me a seat. He replied once more. I told Amanda she was wrong. I told them all they were wrong. You were the only one holding that family together. They just didn't see it. That hit harder than I expected. In March, my mom called again. I almost ignored it, until I noticed the time. 11:57 p.m. Late night calls never bring good news. Mom. Her voice was trembling. Your father's in the hospital. Chest pains. They think it's his heart. I froze. The anger, the resentment, it all went quiet. Which hospital? When I got there, she was sitting outside the ER, clutching a paper cup of coffee. She looked small, fragile in a way I hadn't seen before. They said he'll be okay, she whispered. But it was close. I sat beside her. For the first time in months, I didn't feel angry. Just tired. After a long silence, she said, we messed up, Jake. I looked at her. She was staring at the floor. I thought I was keeping peace in the family by keeping things easy. By keeping you out of things. But all I did was make you feel like an outsider. I didn't answer. She continued, voice cracking. I thought if you kept helping us, it meant you didn't mind. I didn't realize how lonely you must have felt. The truth is, hearing her admit it didn't make it all okay. But it did something, it softened the wall I'd built. I sighed. Mom, I can't just go back to how things were. I know, she said. I don't expect you to. I want to start over. When Dad woke up later that morning, he didn't say much. Just stared at the ceiling for a while, then looked at me. You came, he murmured. Of course I did. He nodded slowly. Guess you're still the responsible one. I smiled faintly. Trying to be. He closed his eyes again. I was hard on you. Thought if I pushed you, you'd be stronger. But I just pushed you away. That was the closest thing to an apology I'd ever get. And honestly, it was enough. By summer, my parents had moved into a small apartment. No fancy decor, no spare guest room, no holiday china, just them. Amanda postponed her wedding indefinitely. She called sometimes, mostly to ask how Dad was doing or to tell me she was trying to save money for once. Things weren't perfect. But they were real. Mom started calling every Sunday just to talk. Not to ask for money, not to complain, just to talk. Sometimes, she'd ask, are you coming home for dinner soon? And every time, I'd smile a little and say, maybe. But only if there's a seat for me this time. She always laughed softly. There always will be now. Epilogue, Christmas, 1 year later. I almost didn't go. But that December, Mom called again, her voice gentler than it had ever been. Jake, it would mean a lot if you came this year. We're keeping it small again, but this time, we mean you. So I did. Their new apartment was tiny, the kind of place that smelled like old pine candles and cheap cocoa. But the table was set for 4, Mom, Dad, Amanda, and me. No name cards, no awkward glances. Just family. As I sat down, Mom placed a hand on mine. "Thank you for giving us another chance." I looked around the table, smaller, humbler, but finally whole. "I didn't need another chance," I said quietly. "Just a place to belong." Dad raised his glass. "To the son who finally taught us the value of a seat at the table." For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like an outsider. And when we ate, it wasn't about money, or debt, or guilt, it was just about being there. Together. The food was simple. The tree was small. But the peace in that room? That was something money could never buy. A few months after that Christmas, things settled into something I hadn't known in years: peace. No guilt, no cold silence. Just small, steady moments of rebuilding. Mom called me one evening in early spring. "I found something while unpacking," she said softly. "Your old report card from 5th grade. You wrote, 'I just want Mom to be proud.'" Her voice broke a little. "I'm sorry it took me so long to say it, Jake. I am." That was the moment I realized, we were finally done keeping score. Amanda and I met for coffee the next week. She didn't bring excuses this time, or ask for help. She just said, "You were right. We took you for granted. I hope someday you'll forgive me." "I already have," I told her. "Just don't forget again." She smiled, tearfully. "Never." That Christmas, exactly 1 year later, the four of us sat at the same little table. No fancy feast, no polished decorations, just real laughter, mismatched mugs, and warm light. Mom placed my plate down herself and said quietly, "The seat was always yours, Jake. We just forgot how much we needed you in it." I smiled. "Then let's make sure we never forget again." And for the first time, it felt like home wasn't a place I had to earn. It was finally mine.